Yeah. Oh, really? So you're gonna want to join us for that, and then that's about it. We'll catch you on the YouTube. Bye. Ghetto birds.
Call me
We rolling?
Jake.
All right, let's go.
Call me Jake Gyllenhaal, cause
It's the Hats Off, Gloves Off podcast with Mitchell Phillips and Spencer Calendar.
Good morning, Vietnam. Hats off, gloves off. We're live, baby. Go to the YouTube. Oh, you're already on the YouTube. Go to the podcast app and rate us. Go to iTunes. We've got 7 reviews, all 5 stars. I mean, who else has only 5-star reviews?
they love us and we're not controversial.
Yeah, controversial.
There will be no controversy surrounding our podcast.
Yeah, unless you're a Jew. JK, LOL. We love everybody as long as you
Aren't a Jew.
as long as you like justice. We bring a balance to the universe, yin and yang and Qing and Chang and all the Chinese religions. My name is Mitchell. Follow me at Mitchell Phillip. That's at Robot Spencer. Follow us both at Hogo Pod. Follow the production team at Beam Jeremy. The production beam at Team Jeremy. Beam Jeremy. We give hats off to those deserve it, gloves off to those deserve it, pats on the back, pats on the fanny, finger point, and finger blasted. Let's jump into it. I got first of all, a news update. Oh shit, there we go.
This just in. Breaking news with Mitchell Phillips.
So a few weeks ago, remember we covered Andrew Tolles, the former Dodger who was found asleep behind an airport in Florida.
Yeah, and that's an especially big bummer because he was only on the Dodgers for one season max.
I think
and
I think like a year and a half, and
he
only
had
played half of it.
pretty big impact. He was a memorable figure. He was really good. He knocked out some killer grand slams.
Mhm.
He was a good guy to have on the team. I miss seeing him go, and I completely forgot about him, and he was in bad shape.
Yeah, so he had a mental breakdown. He was sleeping behind a Key West airport. But the reason he's popping back up on our radar is because this is what we do. We don't just have a story and then forget it.
No.
And by the way, if you think you're not getting legitimate news from Hats Off, Gloves Off, you can take that shit all the way to the gay ass bank because I'm seeing constantly now the entire run of this podcast. We'll cover a story and then months later I'll see memes of it. So to act like we're not first on the scene, and yes, we're getting all of our sources from, we're not
From other journalists who did their work.
we don't have
However,
we don't have, boots on the ground, people out in the streets, but we're the ones who have to sift through all this bullshit on the internet and bring you the fucking quality that, that barely seeps through the cracks.
I do remember when we were covering Turkmenistan,
Nobody wanted to cover Turkmenistan.
our competitor John Oliver went and covered him and did, quite frankly, a better story than we did, but they have resources.
Well, his story was admittedly slanted. He kept trying to accuse him of being like a bad guy, and better production quality, sure, but
He was acting like driving that car around the Devil Pit was not a good move.
like that wasn't the sickest thing a world leader could have done. Like,
He's a Brit. Oliver don't know shit.
bro, if Joe Biden just goes to Arkansas to that devil hole that's still shooting flames and just started doing donuts in a doom buggy, I'm like, okay, that's +1 for Joe B.
Well, I'm pretty sure QAnon would change their tone.
Oh, a little bit. Well, QAnon's still alive. I don't know if you're following, but they're still like, Trump will be reinaugurated on April 7th.
They're doing
they just
that.
Keep pushing the flag.
They're doing that like what the religious people do, where they're like, all right, in the year 2000, the millennium, the angel of death is going to come down and take us all to heaven. And then when it doesn't happen, they'll be like, Gary smudged the page. It's really...
No, it's Oh no, it's the Mayan calendar. They didn't account for 1987. So
Yeah.
and then you factor in leap years. It's actually going to be next week. Give me money. But anyway, Andrew told us he's doing fine. All charges were dropped against him, so now he can just focus on his mental health.
Oh, he's got a clean slate. That's good. That would be weak if they actually fucking charged him for what, sleeping in a dumpster?
Yeah, a mentally ill man. Which, I mean, it's fucking insane, and it just goes to show you this article really harps on like you were saying, he really had an impact on like the clubhouse specifically, but also the team overall. He played 96 games between 2016 and 2018.
All right, so he was on the team for 2 seasons, played less than a season.
Yeah, bro, but Matt Stairs only has one at-bat that I can remember, and it's an insane at-bat. He hit like a 507-foot bomb in the playoffs like 7 years ago.
That would be really...
And Matt Stairs is like, I'm like one of the best Dodgers ever. I can only remember one at-bat of his.
It's awful when you get arrested and charged for a crime that's like not cool, where it's like, okay, let's say you get caught breaking into SeaWorld and swimming with Shamu. Okay, you get arrested for that.
You say
that
not
was
cool?
That was really fun. No, that's cool.
Oh, okay.
But you get arrested for sleeping in a dumpster. It's like, all right, my life already sucks because I'm sleeping in a dumpster, and now I'm going to go to jail for it?
Yeah.
So...
Well, that's kind of like the whole problem we're dealing with like homeless in LA. It's like, what do you do? We're going to go, you want me to just waste
they don't disappear.
thousands of tax dollars. We're just going to bring them in. They're going to sleep overnight, and then we got to give them a red line pass. They're going to get out of Children's Hospital. They're going to be back here in 48 hours, just having costed the city money. So it's like, that sucks. Which maybe you can get in one of those houses. They're building a slum. It's what can only be described as a future favela next to my house. They just spent like billions of dollars redoing the Victory exit on in North Hollywood.
Sure, yeah, I'm aware.
That smoke shop where they have the Carl's Jr. next door that doesn't have a drive-through. So in that area, they built. It's like there's like
the secret comedy show place.
Yeah, there was that that comedy show in the back of a dab bar where nobody did well because everybody's got free dabs before
they
they went on
high all night.
But they just recently built like this massive complex, parking garages. There's a Trader Joe's and a Chipotle. They tried to yuppie up the area. And that just opened like during the middle of like last summer, like where like COVID. It's like, oh shit, they're already taking a huge hit. But now on the other side of the street, they just built like 200 of these little portable homes.
Cool. Can I get one?
I don't know, man. I don't know if you'd want to live there. I was like, it'll probably be sweet for like the first 2 months, and then obviously it's a homeless camp, and it's just going to turn into like hell on earth. It's like, it's the first step in LA becoming the LA it was in Blade Runner.
Yeah,
it's just like Korean. You're like, I don't even know what Asian language this is, but
because it's never as simple as just give the homeless people a nice thing. Where it's like when COVID hit, there was a medical health crisis, a public health crisis. So they said, okay, we need to give these homeless people, at the very least, porta potties and sinks, which who wouldn't think that's a good idea? And then within 2 days, the sinks are literally in the middle of the freeway in a million pieces and everything spray painted.
oh, they literally just lit the one
hard
on fire. It's like, how do you even light plastic on fire?
because that always is a struggle for me, where I don't like to litter. There's a lot of litter in this city, so I'll go, God damn it, I got this trash. Where's the trash can? There are no trash cans in this city. And then they put in trash cans and they just got lit on fire. So we have a problem.
Yeah. It's no bueno, but I mean, sticking with the subject of mental health, you gotta just remove all other obstacles and just let rehab be the only path. And that's the only way you're gonna get it done. You know what I mean? Stop dumping money into fucking putting these guys in jail and build a goddamn, some type of mental health facility. You guys are all gung ho about fucking helping people out. If I'm paying this much in taxes and you ain't fixing potholes, at least get the goddamn crazies out from shitting underneath my kitchen window.
Also, the big problem with is like all these, I don't know, supposedly liberal people. It's like they want resources for the homeless, but they don't want them in their neighborhood.
Yeah.
Well, the homeless are in our neighborhood, people. So go ahead and build a fucking rehab clinic in my neighborhood because they're already in my neighborhood. So we might as well give them 4 walls.
Well, it's like, I don't mind the homeless. Like, I'll give money to the homeless still, which is like, you have to like, you know what I mean? I'm like, I'm giving out
for sex.
Yeah. Of course. I mean, I'm not a charitable man, but I'm willing to, somebody who's enterprising their body.
It's a job.
Yeah. You know what I mean? Teach a man to fish. But when I was living at Marty's, the comedy club, and there was like 10 tents outside, maybe 24 people living there, just like giant black dudes in dresses, like with just like a butcher's knife just in their belt. And they'd fucking harass you. I got chased by the to the grocery store one time by one of them because I gave them a wrong look, and they're just constantly just like smoking crack right in like broad daylight. I'm assuming crack. I don't know. I'm not a narcotics guy. I'm more of a fun drug person. But then like families would roll up with like trays of leftovers, like the giveaway like reheat tins, and we're like, hey, fucking knock it off. And they're like, oh, whoa, you got a problem with it? Like this. I'm like, keep the food at your house, bring them to your neighborhood, so you can just bring the food. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
like,
they got plenty of food.
what are you gonna? You're just feeding. You know what I mean? Like, I have no problem. Like, if these people are hungry, feed them. But like, I don't know. You quit pretending like you're doing a good thing. You're just getting rid of your leftovers because you had a fucking corporate luncheon, and now you're just getting them all high on their hog. And they're gonna be, oh yes, thank you, ma'am. This and that. It's like, these are not the nice homeless people that you want to be feeding. These are the derelicts of society.
They eat half the food, then some gets thrown in the street, then the rats come. Because that's another huge problem with homeless is all of us do-gooders. Like, people will literally, instead of going to Goodwill and getting rid of their clothes, they'll pull over to the side of the road, give this homeless guy 6 blankets, 2 stuffed animals, and 9 pairs of pants. Then multiply that by the 10 other people who do that day,
Yeah.
and then they have an insane amount of shit. I saw this documentary about homeless families who live in these motels in Orange County,
Yeah.
and there's a scene where obviously they get evicted from the motels a lot. There's a scene where this family got evicted from the motel, so all the kids are dumpster diving to get all the free toys that are being given away because this other family was kicked out. So all these little sad kids are getting, I don't know, eviction toys for themselves, and just the thought behind the toys. Like, this
so you come home and the locks are changed and all your shit gets thrown in the trash. So the other poor kids steal your shit out of the trash.
Yeah. So all these kids are getting
How is that? Why are
sad toys?
This is America.
They're eviction toys.
We're 2 steps away from like those videos in like the Philippines where like kids go digging through like massive dumps to find like the batteries to recycle. That's fucking insane, dude. But YOLO. And that's just down the street from like Newport Beach.
Yeah, it literally, it's directly across the street from Anaheim, the happiest place on earth. That's what made this documentary hit so hard, is that all these kids, Disneyland is their playground, but not one of them has ever been inside there.
Yeah.
They just kind of lurk around the gates.
Well, if they're digging in trash cans, I
Bad
bet
times.
they're and you know Disney's not letting, you know what I mean? There's no way Disney throws away the old stuffed animals. They go to like the Disney stores at the mall, or
Yeah, they incinerate them.
they'll shred them before they give them away for free. So you're not even getting like a benefit of. I remember.
Yeah, Disney's nuts. There'll be like a store in Indonesia that uses like Mickey Mouse on
Yeah.
their front. You know, it'll be like Mickey Mouse drinking a Coca-Cola, and they'll send someone out and like sue them.
Yeah.
Where you're like, dude, it's just some fucking guy in.
Or that's why, like, you'll see, like, just like the Mexican piñata places all over LA. They'll have like SpongeBob out front.
Knockoff SpongeBob.
But there's never, it's like My Little Pony, all this and that. There's no Disney stuff because
they come at you.
like this standalone like liquor store, carniceria, deli place that just happens to have like 4 piñatas in the shelf will get a cease and desist from Disney headquarters. I mean, scumbags, but what are you going to do? That's how you make money, my friends. So
Good to hear about Andrew Tolles. That's great.
hats off to you, buddy. We hope you get better.
This is one of those moments where, I don't know, you want to call it instant karma, whatever.
Love these.
Not even karma, because in both these examples I have, the object is doing exactly what it should be doing. Hats off.
Hats off to you, sir.
The first example is this is a pretty big story. I meant to cover it last week, but we ran out of time. So if all you fans are like, this is old. Well, I had it when it was fresh, all right?
Yeah.
But I'm glad I waited, because now I have 2. Basically, there was a little at the community center, there was a class, so all the people went, and the class was bomb making.
Where was this, Fallujah?
Bakersfield.
Okay.
Yeah, actually, I don't know what country where it was in, but I'm guessing it was a place where women are restricted in certain ways. But there was a bomb making class. 30 people died in this bomb making class.
Oh yeah, it was the ISIS thing.
But
Yeah.
it's cool because bombs are meant to explode. The bombs worked. They did what they should have done.
Yep.
And so that's just perfect. That's too perfect. 30 terrorists die in a bomb making class. So they're up there in heaven fucking virgins right now. Do you get to fuck the virgins if you make a boo-boo? and you don't kill infidels?
I think so, because you still died in the pursuit, like the attempt of a jihad. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Where like if you're wearing a bomb, like an explosive vest, and you're supposed to like walk into like an embassy or something, and then it accidentally goes off when you're still like at the security gate. It's like you were still in the process.
Well, your intent was there.
You were moving in the direction of jihad for the sake of Allah.
So yeah, they should get into heaven.
Yeah, well, maybe not like, what is it, like 62, 72 versions? It should be like,
They got 40.
yeah, like 37.
They get 70, but they're all used up. They've already banged.
Oh, yeah, you get 37 like 19-year-olds where it's like they fucked 2 times in high school, but you know what I mean? They don't know anything yet, but you're not getting that sweet cherry.
Yeah. So all right. So we'll research into the jihad heaven situation.
yeah, if you're
I think these guys should get into heaven because they took the time, they paid for the class, they signed up for the class, they probably packed their lunch and showed up to the class.
Well, first of all, their wife definitely packed their lunch. These guys aren't making their own fucking ham and cheese. I'll guarantee, bro. If I don't even know what my wife's face looks like, she's definitely making my lunch.
Yeah. I don't touch any. I won't even microwave a hot pocket if that's my situation. So
Microwave, dude. Hot Pockets go in the oven. If I have a Muslim wife, dude, Hot Pockets go in the oven. Corn dogs, oven. And I'm not microwaving. I don't even own a microwave, bitch.
I don't own a microwave either.
Start dinner 30 minutes
am
early.
All about the oven. Crispy, crunchy, microwave soggy, no good. So in a similar vein, this happened in India. There was a man who was prepping his rooster for a cockfight, and
Here
Mitch-
comes the rooster.
Mitch obviously knows this because he's pretty big into the cockfighting scene. But when you do
Different
enter
kind of cock.
cockfights, what you do is you tape blades to the claws of the roosters. That way, they'll slice and dice when they're fighting. And what happened is the rooster kind of went a little goofy, and it sliced the guy, and the guy bled out and died. So the rooster was doing exactly what it's supposed to do.
I didn't get to this story last week as well.
Oh, that's cool.
We both had this story.
Well, here we are. So this guy, so the bomb went off, and that's what bombs are supposed to do. So, and then the roosters in cockfight, it's a fight to the death. You fight till they die. So the rooster was really doing his job and is a great rooster. What makes this story extra special to me is that obviously this rooster is like the most feared rooster in India. It's got a kill record of 23 roosters, 1 human. But this is true. The rooster was actually briefly held in jail. They actually put the rooster into custody where he was briefly detained, and obviously he started a new gang, a rooster gang.
Yeah. Well, of course.
Called, as you guessed it, El Pollo Loco. Right? Eh? Right? So once he established himself in jail, he was taken to a poultry farm where he will no doubt terrify the other chickens and extort them and prove his dominance.
They put him in his wings in cute little chicken handcuffs.
Yeah, and he's crazy. I mean, this chicken's literate.
Oh, I know. They're gonna have to put the spit guard on him.
Yeah, he's got the spit guard. He's reading the Art of War while doing push-ups and stuff.
Yeah. They arrested the chicken, and he's already got a law degree. He's sitting every day in the library.
Yeah, he's gonna
converted
get out.
to Islam.
He loves blood sport.
Kumate.
So I just like the idea of the rooster was
Did what he's
bred
supposed to do.
to kill.
Yeah,
He killed the wrong species,
but that's not.
but he killed.
Well, it's like you can't fault a bull for hitting a rodeo clown. The rodeo clown's supposed to be better than that. You know what I mean? You're in his arena. He's doing exactly what he's been born and bred for, probably for multi-generations.
Well, it's just the
Now
move.
you're literally in his literal arena. If he hits
Actual arena. And he probably went to catch it. Like, I've done this before where, like, the rooster went crazy and he went to grab it, forgetting it had blades on it. Like, I used to be a butcher when I was brand new.
Ugh.
I was cutting up some meat, and I dropped the knife, and I fucking
Your
caught
instinct.
the knife with my instinct, and it sliced my whole hand. Just because my instinct is when something falls, you catch
Marron.
it. So he probably forgot the rooster had blades on his
Yeah.
claws, but I think it sliced him like right here.
No, yeah, you have your
Femoral artery?
Femoral artery.
I think he got his femoral artery, which
the
is
same
right
place-
on the thigh below the nutsack.
Same place Cheddar Bob shot himself in 8 Mile.
I never saw 8 Mile.
He put the gun down the front of his pants, and it actually went off. It got his artery.
Yeah, people have cut their dicks off that way. I should watch 8 Mile. I've never seen it.
Oh yeah, it's pretty good.
It is?
It's pretty well. The problem with 8 Mile was it's a great movie, but I don't know how great, but I
Is
think
it better than, what's better? Get Rich or Die Trying, the 50 Cent biopic?
8 Mile.
8 Mile's better.
I think 8 Mile won an Oscar, but I think it was for Lose Yourself. It was for the song.
Sure, it's a great song.
But also, it was semi-autobiographical. So it's like, and then people like, they try to put Eminem in like Elysium, that Matt Damon, like future space elite people on like a space station movie. Like, guys, he's not he's not an actor. Like, he just played himself. Like, he was supposed to play Southpaw, that Jake Gyllenhaal
Common does
boxing
it.
movie.
Common does it.
Yeah, but
Andre 3000 does it.
I think yeah, but Andre 3000 was like,
DMX does it.
Andre 3000 was in like Be Cool, and he was in like Four Brothers with Mark Wahlberg, where, I mean, you got Mark Wahlberg pulling anchor.
He played Hendrix in the biopic.
Barely played Hendrix.
I didn't see it.
Yeah, watch the trailer.
Those PG-13 biopics are all dog shit. They're all the same. Ray was cool. Johnny Cash one was cool.
Yeah, in the PG-13 biopic, Jimi Hendrix, he like dips his headband in like orange high C instead of LSD.
It's just MCT oil. He's getting that bulletproof coffee in his pores.
It's just CBD salve. That's what made him play the Star Spangled Banner and made you see God. Was a nice topical ointment.
So R.I.P. to the 30 bomb makers and the one Indian cockfighter.
But hats off to, I mean, that fucking bomb going off is so goddamn funny because he's like, you almost wish like that's what we did with our prisoners. There's so many inmates out there. It's like, let's find a Muslim one, embed him in like Yemen or fucking Oman or something where they got these terror cells, Syria. Be like, just be bad at making bombs, bud.
Yeah, do some good for the country. Yeah, I'd like to
First
imagine.
of all, that's your fault for putting all your bomb makers in one room. Like, that's like, what is it?
Yeah.
Like the line of succession for like the president and the vice president can't be in the same room.
If they would have followed COVID protocols, they would have been in separate rooms Skyping each other. But I like the idea of like the guy teaching the class being like, okay, now you take these wires and you never do this move, okay? You're amateurs. Never do what I'm about to do. I'm doing it because I'm a professional. Papa, explosion!
Or those videos, there's a few videos of like a firearm safety instructor setting off the gun. Like there's one guy shoots himself in the foot.
I've seen that,
There's one on like a range. That one's, the guy's in the classroom.
The
which is
classroom
hilarious.
one's incredible.
There's one where the guy's like at an indoor firing range and he's like giving them all this and he's like, don't ever do this and you always point it down, blah, blah. And then he discharges it into the ground and it's just quiet for 3 seconds. And one guy goes, was that an accident? He goes, yes, that was an accident. But the stakes are so much higher. Instead of shooting an explosion in a specific area, you just blow up the whole, ISIS bomb class of 2021.
Oh,
Let's just say that kid was not getting a fucking valedictorian sash. I'll tell you that.
nah, they'll make the yearbook though.
At the graduation, in the arms of the angels. After the bomb making graduations, here's for the turning point, the fork stuck in the road. You're like, oh man, I'm gonna miss you guys. Have a good summer.
Have a good summer forever.
Have a good summer and literally nothing after that because your mission is supposed to go on in August. Oh fuck. So I got another news update.
This just in. Breaking news with Mitchell Phillips.
Don't fuck this up, Mitchell!
So remember the Idaho woman who claimed she had to wear a burqa, sticking on the whole bomb making peoples.
Yeah,
And I'm not saying all Muslims make bombs. I'm Albanian. Like,
they just banned
We're
burqas
mostly-
in Switzerland, I believe.
we're mostly Muslims in Albania. They ain't no fucking suicide bombers. It's not a fucking religion issue. It's a fucking, I don't know, maybe a sand issue. That's if
Heat. I'm thinking
if
heat.
I lived
It's
in
really
Aladdin
hot
as
there.
well, I'd be pretty pissed off too. But there's no bomb making classes exploding in the Balkans. I'll tell you that. But so the Idaho woman who wore a burqa to Idaho City Hall
Mhm.
because she's like, this face mask mandate is ridiculous. Turns out, I did a little digging. Idaho has never had a statewide mask mandate.
Perfect.
She threw a fit for nothing. They only required her to wear a mask to come into the city council meeting. So she dressed up in a burqa to go to the city council meeting to tell them how ridiculous it is, which is like, Idaho you don't even have to wear it to go into a grocery store.
Yeah, there are a couple very specific places you have to do it.
Yeah, so she went to like City Hall just to be like, you guys won't let me in here without a burqa. And by the way, she's wearing the burqa and her face is uncovered.
She's wearing it wrong.
She wore the entire burqa, which also I covered last time. You don't need a burqa, just get a hijab, or like my aunt wears a scarf. Like women just have like a headscarf is like a popular thing. Like just
Well, yeah, and people doing ridiculous things to show how ridiculous something is always makes them look ridiculous, because it is like, okay, I don't like the mask mandate, but I live in a city where there actually is one, and I can't go in anywhere. Like I was talking to a lady who said she's no longer going to support this out. She's no longer going to shop at Albertsons because the lady there made her wear a mask. It's like the poor 16-year-old girl who's just following. It's the rules of society. This happened. A restaurant in Texas is making people wear masks, even though it's up to the individuals now, because the governor said no masks at all in the whole state of Texas. So this one restaurant is saying, we're going to keep the mask thing going. And these people are trying
that's your right.
Yeah.
And everybody who's arguing against that were the people who are arguing for like that bakery who didn't want to make a cake for a gay couple. Where you're like, no, it's a business. They're allowed to do this. And Texas drops the mask mandate, and everybody's like, people are going to die. It's like, you can still wear one if you want to.
Yeah. And I like every individual business should get to make their decision. I believe that bars should be allowed to say, hey, we're a smoking bar. If you don't like it, don't come to our restaurant. So with that same concept, we're a mask restaurant. But anyway, all these Texans started calling fucking ICE and trying to get their staff deported. It's like,
I'll tell you what, that is consistent,
don't
though.
eat at their fucking Mexican restaurant. Don't eat at their restaurant. Don't eat at their restaurant.
Well, if you
don't go to the restaurant.
If you don't like Mexicans, you can't eat at Mexican restaurants. You can't eat at sushi places. You can't eat at Outback. You can't eat at Chili's. You can't eat at the goddamn Lazy Dog Cafe.
Yeah, that one was mind-blowing, because maybe write a bad Yelp review, but you're trying to fucking ruin this person's livelihood?
That's literally like...
Because you have to wear a mask before you eat your chimichanga?
Vote with your dollars. If you think it's wrong, the market will speak. If enough people agree with you, then that restaurant's going to go out of business because they don't have any customers. But if people don't give a shit, then just literally make the choice to take that out of your life. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I kind of like the potato head thing that's going on, because I don't think it will actually play out this way, but they're saying that they're keeping Miss Potato Head and Mrs. Potato Head and adding a potato head. So therefore, it should be at Target, there should be a Mr. Potato Head, a Mrs. Potato Head, and an androgynous potato head. Let the market choose. If all of a sudden Mrs. Potato Head sales skyrocket, then that's good for one cause. That's good for another cause. We'll see how it plays out.
It's just beneficial. It's a 40-year-old toy
that no one cares
Which
about.
all you have to do, you literally just design a new box, and then this is the Mr. Potato with the mustaches, this is Potato Head with the lipstick, and now you just put the boy and girl parts in the same Mr. Potato Head. You sell it for $2 more. Woke fucking idiot parents buy it up, and
Cha-ching.
and people who are scared it's going to go away buy up the old ones.
Cha-ching.
Cha-ching, cha-ching. Next, it's going to be like, hey, like, why not have a whole line of like 40 different potato heads? Like, hey, this is my uncle's roommate Gary Potato Head. Like, they're not gay, but
Yeah, and they already kind of do.
Wink,
There's
wink.
like a Halloween edition. There's a Christmas
who
edition.
gives a shit?
There's a
Yeah, no, but I agree with you. It's just let people make their choices. But like, it's the same thing of like, the people who are against cancel culture are literally getting people deported. It's like, literally, just don't go to that restaurant. It's fine. Like,
just quiet down. And that's the premise, where we really do try to destroy people's lives. For even with the restaurant thing, working at restaurants, I would hear people all the time, they would have a bad experience and they would say, I'm never coming back here again. And I would think, okay,
yeah,
that's good. And then they would say, and I'm going to tell everyone I know not to come to your restaurant. And you're like, okay, your chicken tendies were a little cold. Okay, don't come. Don't come. That's reasonable. But you're going to spend time bad-mouthing us to other people?
yeah. Though it's like, no, it's like, I mean, even waiting tables, you go, like, people come up to you and are like, if you come back, hey, how's everything? And they go like a real rational person always comes out on top. Because if you come up to me and then like you have an actual, like, a legitimate complaint, like, hey, it's been taking a while, or the food
Pretty much
finally came
always.
out. food came out this and that. I'm gonna just go tell the manager. I'm like, hey, go 84, go hook them up because blah blah blah, and they'll go give them like a free meal or like a comped bottle of wine
Free
or something.
brewski.
Yeah, but people are like, I'm gonna tell everybody I know this place sucks, and especially when you're like you work at a chic place, you're like, I don't give a shit. This place is packed every night. Like, you're the 5th person to say this to me this month.
You're
and-
mad that we're so popular that you had to wait 30 minutes to get a table. So,
But that's what. Yeah, it's like, oh no, this place is. Your food took so long because this place is so popular. So please shout it from the fucking mountaintops, you stupid cunt.
yeah, people are, the idea to try to bring other people down.
It's so stupid.
That's a big issue with the restaurant business is you'll get really bad Yelp reviews. And when I was in charge of my restaurant's Yelp, I would always respond with, next time you have an issue, please come talk to me about it. So, okay, I have a shitty experience at a restaurant. Instead of talking to the manager like you're supposed to, give them the chance to comp your food.
Yeah.
You go straight to the internet. Give us a chance to fix the problem.
And those people love free shit.
That's what they're trying to get, and they're doing it wrong.
Yeah, it's like, I'm not gonna comp you through email. Like, if you just behave like a reasonable person,
Tell me in the moment.
you're gonna get 10% off your bill, a free couple of beers. Like, Jesus Christ. And I don't mind that because usually it's like, I know I fucked up, you stupid idiot. Yeah, I know your food took 30 minutes. Like, I'm not fucking retarded. You're my 85th person I've seen today. But yeah, I don't know. Fucking people are the worst. It's the hypocrisy that's like so goddamn glaring these days. Where the return gets so much shorter. So like in the 90s, it was like the religious right, like trying to cancel Kevin Smith, and like it was funny because he was out with the protesters. Like, I hate this guy too. And
Yeah, that was awesome.
But then,
It was more fun back then.
oh, for sure.
Because there weren't really consequences. Where now before it was like, look at these retards trying to cancel Kevin Smith. Now it's like, look at these retards supporting Kevin Smith.
Yeah.
It's very strange.
It's insane. But I think a big part of it has, like, back when it was the right, at least there was like a deity. You know what I mean? There was a religion behind it. You know what I mean? Where it was at least coming from an attempted morality.
It was for God.
Where it's like, oh no, it is blasphemous. Like, no, porn is evil. It fucks. Like, we know now, 30 years later, internet
It's
porn
definitely bad.
has
My life
fucked
would be
up
better if I
generations.
never
Yeah.
saw internet porn.
100%. But like, and so you're like, oh, but you can't give up ground. You're like, hey, the religious was right for the past 30 years on this single issue. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But then the liberals counteracting, like, if you think porn is bad, then you're a fucking bigot. It's like, and these women are powerful. It's like, no, they're being human trafficked. Like, do you believe in women's rights? Because she's doing. I know it looks like a bedroom,
Yeah,
but she's
this
in a
really
she's
isn't-
in a boxcar in Ukraine right
This
now.
isn't empowering for her. She's in a lot of trouble. She's in big trouble right now.
Yeah, why do you think they? You know what I mean? It's like, oh yeah, cool. She looks fine. It's like, yeah, because she knows she's going on camera, so she puts the heroin in between her toes.
This isn't a 19-year-old on OnlyFans over here. This is someone being trafficked. But yeah, just that concept of I don't like something, so therefore it cannot exist is
It's mind-boggling.
it's scary. It really defies logic
I
for
like
me.
the
there's
things
a
I hate
lot of
exist.
stuff I really don't like.
Rob Riggle has a new travel show, and I watched 3 episodes out of pure hatred. I actually enjoy consuming things that I fucking hate. But other people will see that show and then like write to Discovery, like, I'm so like offended by the quality of this. It's like, it's fucking Rob Riggle like saying he's gonna find Atlantis. Like, what the fuck did you expect?
Yeah, there's a really good Oliver Stone movie. It's basically him. It's about a shock jock. So it's an Oliver Stone movie about a Howard Stern-like character. And there's people in that show who claim to hate him, but they call the show every day.
Yeah.
You know, and it's like, you've been listening to me for the past hour and a half. It is a weird thing.
That would happen on Stern all the time. People were like, you said this today, and then I heard last week you said this, and he goes, oh, so even this guy that hates me is listening every day, it sounds like. So I don't give a shit whether you like me or not. Like, my fucking pockets are getting fatter.
Yeah, I don't like Lady Gaga. Let's bring her down.
But she had a good performance on Stern, Lady Gaga.
Did she?
I did not like her until she went on Stern, and she did like an acoustic piano of like one of her songs, and I was like, oh, bitch got pipes.
I'm a Vanessa Carlton guy.
That's-
Making my way downtown. Be-ba-ba-ba-ba. All right. Well,
All right.
let's keep her rolling.
Was that yours?
That was yours.
Okay, let's go.
What do I have, huh? What do I got? How
You
about
tell me, bud?
gloves off? Made a discovery. There's a new being trans is trendy trans.
Get the fuck out of here!
And I subscribe to a subreddit. And the subreddit is called True Two Chromosomes. And it's mostly women who are telling stories about like men being sexist dickheads. And, like, hey, I have this asshole in my office and he
man.
tried to invite me to the Bahamas with him. He's married. He's a pig. It's a lot of stuff like that. But there's a trend.
Oh, this evil guy tried to give me a free vacation.
There's this trend of trans people who are transitioning, and they just show their before and after, and people respond like, "You're beautiful, girl. You're beautiful. You're great. Keep doing what you're doing." But I looked at all of them. There is a very serious trend. I've talked about this before. One, it's always men turning into women, overwhelmingly, because these men are really just sexist assholes, and they're saying that being a woman's easier than being a man. So these men are sexist.
Wow.
But I have made
canceled. By the way, men, newsflash, you're canceled.
a real observation that I noticed. There wasn't a race. There wasn't a trend in race. There was a trend in the type of man. They're all short, really nerdy guys. Incels, if you will. An incel is someone who's involuntarily celibate. Basically, they're so appalling to the opposite sex because they're under 6 feet tall and they're not in good shape or whatever.
It's not even that they're appalling. It's usually like a lack of confidence and like a almost like an entitlement issue. Like, girls don't like good guys like me. Where you're like, bro.
Yeah, or just a bummer personality. So I've noticed that it's my new theory that I just thought of last night. I haven't really worked through it. Is that it's men who cannot get laid who are trying to become women so they can hopefully get laid. Because all those dudes claim to just be lesbians. They're not like becoming women and then fucking dudes. So you're a young teenager. You have this fantasy like, hey, I want to have orgies. I want to bang. I want to, like, I met this comic. He gave me a ride one time, and he was kind of a nerdy guy who didn't get chicks. And he told me he was polyamorous. I'm like, oh, you're polyamorous? You're in a relationship like that? And he said, no, I don't have a girlfriend, but I am polyamorous. And I was thinking like, yeah,
That's not how that works.
Ask me at 17 what I am. Polyamorous, that's what I'm going to say.
Oh, well, ask me when bro, the first 3 years of puberty, dude.
But I can't be a scuba diver
I was
if I've never
polyamorous
scuba dived.
too. I was like, rub my dick on the couch and like trying to figure out how pillows folded.
It was just funny. This guy
You didn't even
basically
need to
wanted
be a person.
This guy wanted threesomes, so he called himself polyamorous. But he didn't even have a girl. He couldn't act on it. That's just what he wanted.
Ugh, that's disgusting. You know, really, what you need to do if you guys want a threesome, what you do is you flirt with 2 girls at once, and then they start competing with each other, and then they start kissing to show you how cool they both are. So they try to like appeal to you until it comes to a head-to-head of them making out with each other, like
Head-to-head, and you
it's a
get in the
weird
head.
game of like lesbian chicken, and then you kind of just insert yourself into that situation, and obviously they both want you, so then it becomes like a competition. I'm just,
It works every time.
hit
I've
me up
tried
on
it.
Hogo.
First, you got to find 2 girls who actually like you. Women hate Mitch.
When I stopped saying "milady," it started happening.
But so yeah, I mean, I guess I don't know. Remember if it's a gloves off or hats off.
wait.
But do you think that's a solid theory that it's all incel dudes?
Oh, for sure.
Who
I'd say
are
like
becoming women so they can fuck?
I'd say like 80%. I know probably, I don't know, around 20 trans people, half of which are like, I mean, like probably like 8 are like comedians or, quote unquote comedians.
I would say all of the ones I know are comedians.
But they are, I'd say 80% of them are like, if you get to know them, like they have a story about like trying to have sex with an underage girl or like just something that's generally rapey.
Oh, they do?
Or they're reprehensible. You know what I mean? Like I think they're gross people who it's not just incel. I think you're narrowing that. I think it's people who are just have weird, fucked up sexual shit in general. And they think, or they're just abhorrent to be around. Most of these people are just dog shit people. And they think like, oh, being trans is going to give me more attention or people will talk to me because of that. Or maybe if I dress like a giant doll, I can
my checklist was
I can get past a couple of these people's filters. Especially women.
Incel, have a really shitty dad, have a mean dad, and then there's a wrestling connection. All all the dudes I know who have transitioned to women are hardcore professional wrestler fans.
We're connecting a lot of dots out here. Next week, you're going to
There's
come
a
back.
lot
There's going to be a lot of pictures connected with red yarn.
So I don't know.
We're on the case, though. Hats off,
It's
gloves
not really
off.
a
Does not give
positive
up.
or negative, but I don't know if this is a bigoted observation on my part, but it does seem. I will show you the 2 chromosomes page. It's all very nerdy men who would not do good in the pussy game, who are, and there's wrestling involved. Well, I'll do some more research. Don't cancel me yet. Let me plead my case. It's not well thought through.
Yeah. Well, you can't cancel us until we're done saying it. You know what I mean? So if we never stop talking about it, you can't cancel us. Because
I ain't done.
our opinion's not finished.
Bruh.
So I got to know. Let's switch topics. I mean, everything's kind of funny enough, like segued into each other. You know, we talked about the bombs and the hijab lady and the blah, blah, blah.
That's like how women's periods sync up. We're syncing up.
Yeah, and we're both bleeding out of our dicks at the same time.
You are.
Bruh.
What are you doing here today?
Is this some kind of setup or something? I'm just on my way to the beach.
So Jack Dorsey is auctioning off his first Twitter post. He's the first guy to post on Twitter. Obviously, he's the founder and CEO. So he was like, hey, his first tweet was like, hey, just setting up my Twitter. And it was funny because it's from 2006. People still use like shorthand. He spelled Twitter TWTTR, where he's still doing like, it was still like C, the letter U, and then LTR. Like people are still like, it's like just, we were still figuring it out. It's just funny. A nice little time capsule of 2006. One of those I like, Australians, they'll write mate. It's just M8. Like, all right, see you there, mate. And it's just M8.
Yeah, we would do that if we would write notes like in junior high. It would be like, "What are you doing later?" L8ER.
Yeah, we did in high school. Some of us were straight edge, so then we became like we'd show up to class. And my friend Joey's like, "It's cool. I'm late edge.
Sick.
I'm skate edge." You just start making fun of it. But anyway, Jack Dorsey, cunt executive officer of Twitter. Is auctioning off his first Twitter post, which is kind of weird because
Can I just screenshot it?
that's my whole thing. Is like, first of all, there's like a weird self-importance about it, where he's like, I did this thing that like, because it was weird when like I don't know, like around like 2009, 2010, you started like the news started using hashtags and stuff. You're like, what's going on here? And like people were still like,
Yeah.
# LA KTLA 5 what? But now it's like it's become part of the zeitgeist or whatever. So I don't know. It's just weird and like to think that like it's that important. You know what I mean?
What, a tweet?
It's the first tweet, but he's like, no, it's had an impact on society and someone can own it. But like you said, just screenshot it. All you're doing is like,
Well, it's like
it's
when
also-
you go to
if
ride
you-
on Splash Mountain and they take your picture. It's like, I got an iPhone. I'm going to take a picture
Yeah.
of the picture. I'm not spending $12
on a keychain.
on a keychain.
These but also you buy it and you just own it digitally, but it'll never be taken down. Also, all of this is assuming Twitter's still going to be around in 5 years. Like all of these things collapse. You know what I mean? Like if you would have told me in 2007 that MySpace was going to go away, I was like, well, what's going to happen to all my friends? You know what? Where am I going to collect my top
Are you going
8?
to kill my friends?
Where am I going to put the song I'm feeling this week?
It is surprising how long Twitter and Facebook have weathered the storm,
Well, that's
considering how many have not.
don't get me started. I'm pretty sure Facebook was founded secretly by the CIA, but let's not get into that right now. Anyway, gloves off to fucking Jack Dorsey. You stupid cunt. No one cares.
Fuck you, Dorse.
You're auctioning off a thing that you can't own. You know what I mean? It's like, what's next? You gonna auction off the weather? It's still gonna be the weather. You know what I mean? Like, Jay-Z tried to patent the color blue, and it's like, are you fucking high, dude?
Really?
Yeah, like these people are just out of their minds, and their self-importance is so fucking astronomical that it literally makes me sick. Fucking $2.5 million for his first post.
Well, I got some anger. That's a gloves off. That'll just carry me through to this next one.
Let's hear it.
Because I'm pissed. Gloves off, Catholic Church.
Oh no! What could the Catholic Church possibly have done?
Well, it's hypocritical because what they did, I've heard rumors that there are preachers who make love to boys, and that these nuns act as pimps and they prostitute these boys out.
That's only happened a couple 100,000 times.
That's disgusting sex stuff. So here's something that is sex stuff that was not as disgusting. This woman who is happily married with 3 beautiful children, boys, she wanted to make some extra income and spice up her relationship. And she started an OnlyFans, and her husband gets real horny from it, and they like it. She said it's really helped their sex life. And she started making pretty good money and a little extra income for the family. And her husband, again, I need to stress, is way into her OnlyFans. It's not like she's doing this as a secret. He gets off on it.
This guy wasn't cool.
It really spiced up the relationship. But word got out, some parents got mad, and her kids were expelled from school.
How are you going to take it out on the kids?
Gloves off. These kids are already fucked because all their friends have now seen their mom naked.
That's, first of all, nothing would make me blow a load harder than even if she was like an ugly pig, but just like in high school, one of my mom's friends just seeing her naked, her being hot is just a bonus.
Dude, my friend fucking Jeremy, his mom was Playboy of the Year in like 1988, and they had it framed in their house, which was a terrible mistake because whenever we would smoke weed, my friend Kyle...
Bro, my zipper would fly off like a fucking cartoon, just ping, ping,
my
ping,
friend
ping.
Kyle at all times had just hundreds of photos of her. Like, because, you know, Playboy, there are only like 8 photos.
Yeah.
But he just printed out hundreds of the same 8, and we'd be smoking weed, and the kid would go to the bathroom, and he would just put them all over the bedroom. And we made him, he was punished for his mom being so hot and naked in Playboy. But these kids
That's just boys
are
being
already
boys.
going to get so much abuse from their friends. Like, hey, I saw your mom's OnlyFans. Your dad's totally jerking off to your mom's OnlyFans. But now these kids were expelled from school for something they have no control over, has nothing to do with them. They're just trying to get a good education from the Lord. And coming from the... And apparently, her OnlyFans isn't even naked. It's, like, very sexy.
Yeah.
But no nips or pussy.
Well, now you've banned these kids from school. How are they going to get an education? They're end up doing pornography themselves.
I know.
You're creating a vicious cycle, public education system.
It's not private education system. It's a Catholic school. And the church
Ugh.
loves fucking. They love boning.
That's also kind of unfair because, you know, it's like, hey, we can fuck literally whoever we want, but you're not even allowed to have like a consensual adult relationship with sex.
Yeah, this is a pretty healthy, you know, therapists will tell you, like, hey, you want to spice things up? Maybe go buy her some oysters and go fuck at the beach or something.
Yeah.
It's, and the Catholic Church, you know what's not fair about this whole scandal with the Catholic Church is the Catholic Church is very anti-abortion. They're very anti-birth control. Yeah, easy for you to say, Father Todd, boys can't get pregnant. Of course you're against birth control because the thing you fuck can't get pregnant.
Yeah. Well, also the whole thing is like kind of sketchy. Like my girlfriend was asking me about it the other day, and I was like explaining to her. I was like, no, it's evil. Like priests were allowed to get married for like 1,200 years. But when you like back then, when you were a priest, you were like a politician or like a public figure. So like your whole time, like you became very wealthy. You'd acquire lands and properties, and you know what I mean. And then the Catholic Church made it so you can't get married, so that when you die, the church gets all your shit. That's how the church accumulated wealth throughout like the Middle Ages.
Yeah.
So now now we're in 2021. It's like just let these fucking priests have wives, because like the Catholic Church doesn't get Father Gary's house in Pittsburgh. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
like,
and also
let him just save this poor little boy's asshole by letting him keep his 401k. You scumbags.
Yeah, and it's gonna make them better at their job because like the bulk of a priest's job is to give
Relationship advice.
relationship advice where it's like, okay, lady's cheating on her husband, she doesn't know what to do, and the priest just says like, stay in the marriage, but he doesn't know what the fuck he's talking about.
The
Like the
priest
priest
from
in Sopranos.
Hey, Marilyn.
her husband's a murderer, and
Yeah.
he's like, you got to stick it through. The God's gonna frown upon you.
It's so silly, dude. And then he tries to kiss her. You fucking cunt.
Yeah, and you can't give relationship advice if you're only allowed to date boys. It'd be like, hey, my wife just got pneumonia. Our sex life has been shitty ever since the chemo. And he's like, well, that reminds me, I used to fuck a boy with chemo, and what I would do is tell him to keep his mouth shut or he's going to hell. You can't give good advice if you're not in the game.
Well, okay, so can I keep it rolling with more Catholic school news?
Keep the school news rolling.
So the Christian school district, in where was it? O'Fallon, Missouri. They were doing a rally. What was the rally for? I forget. Blah blah blah. Ill inflamed. Blah blah blah. Private school being criticized. I don't know what the fuck they were doing. Why they were there? People were at the school doing some type of fundraiser or something. Probably some teachers union extortionist horse shit. Like, hey, we're not going to teach your kids until you, I don't know, pay off my Civic. But they arranged like a bunch of events for that day, and one of the events was human Scrabble. So they put letters on around everybody's neck.
Oh, that's fun.
Yeah. So then you had to run around like grabbing people, trying to spell words so you can get points for your team. Right?
Cute.
Yeah, real fun. The picture they posted on their Twitter, be like, hey, look what a fun day we had. We played Scrabble.
Someone
Here, let's pull this up
fake
on the big
fucking
screen.
or what?
We have this. Well, it's just letters. So you're like, what could go wrong? It's all randomized, completely randomized letters. These people happen to meet up together. And they're like, hey, guys, get together real quick. Let's just take a picture for the website. And they spelled, as this put it, let me see. They're running around trying to spell raccoon, but they couldn't find an R and an A. Can't do that, Catholic school. We recognize that it's
So
an
they went with
ill-informed
cocoon
action.
instead, or what?
Nope, just, and it's blurred out. It's blurred out on the big screen, but I have the unedited. It's C blurred S, derogatory term for black people, short for raccoons. You guys can figure it out.
Oh, they did coon, so what?
This is not the time, bud.
Yeah, that's bad time. That does suck, though. I said this was like 5 years ago, but I said the word spook, and a white chick got mad at me, and I was like, I was talking about getting spooked by, like, I was scared.
Spooky.
Yeah, but
It's spooky.
I got accused of being racist when that wasn't even on my mind. But yeah, but poor timing.
Someone called me out for gypped.
Oh.
And my take on that is, yes, I know it's derogatory towards gypsies. You've never met a gypsy. They are bad people.
Yeah, they're scary.
They're scary
When
people.
When you go to Europe, they warn you about the gypsies.
Well, the gypsies,
it's like it's in their travel guide.
the gypsies are slowly being replaced by like the Sudanese and the Somalians, which in terms of like if you're gonna go see like the fucking Notre Dame or the Louvre or whatever, all the tourist traps in Europe, they're now flooded with Central Africans or like Eritrean fucking immigrants, which scares me because then people are going to start sleeping on the gypsies, and they're in the shadows. They're not just going away. They're coming up with new, better scams. There was a guy in Glendale a couple years ago. He was just walking around with a ball peen hammer, just hitting cars and leaving the card for his body shop on the windshield. So just carry yourself better. You know what I mean? It's like those cops we were talking about where they had like the group text, like doing like George Floyd jokes. It's like, guys,
Know what you're doing.
give it 6 months. Like, just don't be like Eminem, all tone deaf.
Yeah, download the whatever the app that lets you text Signal. Download Signal.
Yeah, download Signal or WhatsApp, whatever's not owned by China, and share your views there. Or like a cop in this. I was telling you there's a story, but I dropped it because it was in the Philippines. Not that big of news, in the Philippines. But the cop was twirling his gun just in the station, and he actually dropped it, and it shot a guy in the chest, and he died, an inmate. And it's like, oh man, that's a hell of a story if it was in Colorado. But the Philippines, you know what I mean? They don't have an idea of the climate and everything. Or that FBI agent, remember when he was like breakdancing and he did the worm and he lost his gun?
Yeah.
It's like, buddy, not right now. I get it, and I get it's nuanced, and there's many different takes, and
The
there's
worm
many
is cool.
factors, and the worm is sick, but buddy, just not
Don't
right
spell
now.
out coon
Just
and put it on your social media.
for the love of God, don't spell out. Bro, if I'm running that Scrabble, I'm not even putting any N's on anybody's
Yeah.
chest. I'm only putting one G out there. You're not going to be spelling a handful of words if
Yeah.
I'm running fucking teacher Scrabble.
It's not possible to spell these words.
And these are teachers. They all went to schools, which everybody accuses of being like hyper liberal and ultra sensitive to these types of things. And they didn't even know what the fuck they were doing. I'd like to think this photographer was sitting around all day just waiting for the right. You know how like you go through Bed Bath and Beyond and you rearrange the pillows that all have like initials on them to spell like poop.
Or they have those like little mini marquees. Yeah, and
Yeah, of course. But I mean, come on. Hey guys, just proceed with caution, at least until the anniversary of George Floyd, for crying out loud.
Yeah.
Oh, well, that's it. I'm out of topics.
Yeah, that's a wrap.
That's a wrap?
That's a wrap.
You know what else is a wrap?
Papa's got to go.
A wrap. Everybody look up Eminem's new Bad Song. But he makes a good point. So
Yeah, really good point.
next up, we're waiting for Marilyn Manson's response to Columbine. It's so silly. We're still talking about Eminem being like controversial. Didn't he cover this when he had to go to court and he's like, raise your own fucking kids? Like I'm a musician.
Isn't
like,
that the key to his success and why he's so popular? Is because he says naughty shit?
He could be one of your kids. White America! Little Eric looks just like this. But Eric doesn't go to school and spell the C word. The bad black people C word. All right. Well, that's it for us. Follow me at Mitchell Fill Up, MITCHELL FILLUP on Instagram. That's at Robot Spencer. That's at Beam Jeremy. But make sure, most importantly, you go follow us at Hogopod, HOGOPOD. Here comes the boom. And that's where you can hit us up, DM us, or leave comments on anything for comments, corrections, suggestions, good old-fashioned hate mail. If you want an update on an old story, it's all through there. Dick pics go to Spencer. We'll see you next week. Bye.